All right, guys, Kevin back here again. So, you know, you're thinking, is it time for an electric car? You know, you've been looking at them. You look at this new Tesla Model 3 Performance, and it's an M3 killer, essentially, for half price. All-wheel drive, American made. But you're like, electric cars are never really my thing. You know, man, I get it. That was me 3 years ago. I'm a V8 guy. I've always been a V8 guy. I have my Cobra, makes over 900 on ethanol, big Whipple cams, everything. And I'm like, I'd never be caught dead in an electric car, right? You know, though, I absolutely loved my last Tesla Model 3. It was so good to me. I got this new Performance Model 3, the Highland refresh. It's just been absolutely breathtaking. So I kind of wanted to go over the basics, and we're gonna just talk a little bit about charging and a little bit about what's it like to own an EV, and basically, what do I think? What do I recommend? Because while I think they're great for me, and of course, I've never once cared about the environment or a political statement. To me, EVs, they don't register on that for me. It could not mean less to me than it already does. I bought this car because it's the absolute performance benchmark for $50,000. So, driving an electric car, it's definitely different, but in ways that you'll grow to love. The first thing that you're gonna recognize is the regenerative brakes. Driving an electric car, driving an electric car is kind of like driving an ATV or snowmobile. That's really strong regenerative braking. So you take your foot off the throttle here, and the car slows down actually pretty aggressively. And that's going to take a lot of getting used to. It's going to be a little off-putting at first, but once you get used to the regenerative braking, you'll grow to love it, because it's truly one-pedal driving. You can drive from home to work with never touching the brake pedal, other than just to shift it into drive. So there's that. But the next thing you realize about driving an electric car, aside from the obvious that it's quiet with no exhaust, which, for the longest time I thought not having an exhaust was a downside. Guys, I've grown to believe it's actually a plus. You can kind of scoot around on back roads at night and it's not an issue. You can kind of get on it in front of cops. It's not an issue, okay? Because so many people have equated to loud means fast and quiet means slow, that you can scoot around and it's not an issue. It's actually really relaxing. The next thing you're gonna notice is just how planted to the road they feel. And of course, this is a performance model. They're not all gonna feel this planted, but it's because all of the weight is in the floor. The center of gravity is so low on these vehicles that it really feels nimble, and it feels light, even though it's heavy. Although cars have become so heavy nowadays that I think this car's 4,050 pounds. It's actually not really heavy at all for an all-wheel drive vehicle of this size. I just can't get over the acceleration of this new Performance Model 3. But the next thing you're gonna notice is just the power delivery itself. We're so used to gasoline vehicles. They have power bands, okay? They got turbo lag, you got superchargers, okay? Whatever you have, okay, you got a downshift, then you gotta wait for the upshift. Maybe the upshifts, maybe it skips a gear. There's none of that. I mean, I think one of the most disappointing things is like getting on an automatic, and you're expecting it to downshift into first, and it kind of doesn't. It kind of puts you in that hole between first and second gear. There's nothing like that. Like, any speed you step on it, it's just an immediate wall of torque that hits you right in the gut.
There's no downshift, there's no power band. It's just an immediate wave of torque. And then you realize it doesn't spin the tires. Like, come right here. At any speed you get on it, there's no tire spin. Even in the rain, these things hook up incredibly well. That's just because the electric motors can vary their output, you know, every millisecond almost, okay? Where, you know, what are you gonna do for throttle, you know, traction control in a gas car? You know, you can close the throttle body, you can cut timing, you can, you know, you can apply the brakes, but all those traction control systems kind of seem intrusive, and they really hammer the power down. This lives right on the edge of grip without you feeling it, and that's what's great. So they handle beautifully, they have awesome power output, okay? And possibly the best thing for me is living in New England. We have really, really hot, we have really, really cold. Today it's 103 degrees outside with the humidity. And never once do I gotta sit here and worry about oil temp, coolant temps, charge temps. You're not gonna worry about heat soak. Like, driving my 03 Cobra is not fun in 100-degree weather. Actually, I really don't like to do it. I don't want to worry about detonation or, you know, heat soak, running 22 pounds of boost. And it's just as nice in the winter. You know, you don't have to worry about the cold start. You know, worry about getting on the car before it's warmed up, the oil temps. Like, I think my Focus RS would hit like almost 100 PSI of oil pressure when it's a cold start. And then of course I got to merge on the highway and you're afraid to get on it when it's cold. There's none of that. You can literally get into these at 10 degrees or 110 degrees and instantly floor it. All of those worries are gone. Like, I was supposed to go drag racing tonight. It got canceled because of the heat and the impending storms. But the car is just as fast at 110 degrees as it is in 20 degrees. And actually, it's faster at 110 than it is in 20-degree weather because of the battery temps. So, as far as driving goes, there's really only upsides. They're fantastic to drive. Other than, of course, the biggest downside is the range. And, you know, they say, well, why don't they make an electric car that does 500 miles? Well, it's the same answer as why don't you make a Ford Fusion with a 40-gallon gas tank? Weight ruins everything. The car will handle worse, brake worse, accelerate worse, get worse fuel efficiency. It's just, everything about it gets worse with added weight. You know, it's the same as an electric car, except 10 times worse because, you know, batteries are a lot heavier than gasoline. So, as long as you drive less than 250 miles a day or 150 miles a day in the winter, and of course, I had my last Model 3. I'll put in a couple clips right here in crazy winter weather, a literal blizzard. And, you know, I think I would have got 175 miles on that charge. As long as you drive less than 150, 200 miles a day, guys, electric cars are great. I no longer need to get gas on the way home or worry about when I'm getting more gas. Or, you know, I work in a restaurant in the kitchen. It's hot. I wear shorts year round because it's hot. And, you know, it always kind of sucked getting gas. It's 5 degrees outside. And I'm outside in shorts. There's literally no more. You literally wake up, it's fully charged, and you just go. And I think it's important to not think about the 6-hour charge times or the 8-hour charge times, and just start to think about it like your cell phone. You know, you plug in your cell phone at night, whether it's at 62 or 12. This is the same. You just plug it in at night, you wake up with a full charge, and you go on your day and you repeat every single day, just plug it in. Honestly, it's superior to gas for me, and I don't envision myself going back, for daily drivers at least. I'm not getting rid of my Mustang, because of course, you know, they're not as fun as the raw power, the exhaust, the smell, the feeling, the vibrations. Look, all that's really important, but we're just talking daily drivers here. This truly is a game changer. All right, guys, just got home. For the second part of the video, it's the big one, charging, okay? This is the Tesla wall charger, okay? I just plugged it in, okay? So you just literally, super easy, okay? The car knows what the battery is at. It knows when to charge, to what time, for how long, okay? The car figures everything out. The wall charger itself is about 500 bucks. And of course, I wanted to say, look, if for whatever reason you can't put in a charger where you live, your townhouse, your apartment, your home, maybe your home is an old 100 amp panel, okay? You really need a 200 amp panel for these. This wall charger is 240 volt on a 60 amp breaker, pulls just over 11.5 kilowatts. For whatever reason you can't get a charger at home, and there's not chargers at work, I don't honestly recommend EVs for you just yet. I think they're better when you can charge every single day. You know, you come home from work and you plug it in and you forget about it. The wall charger itself is right around 500 bucks. I think it's just slightly under that. Obviously, you'll need to pay an electrician to install it. What's nice though is I actually got a $1,000 rebate from my electric car company for installing the electric charger, which is like 6 months of driving for me. And then secondly, my electric company, again, this is going to go by different electric companies, or it's going to go by different states you live in. I have a sub-meter, which for off-peak hours. So between the hours of 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., I get huge discounts on electricity, almost 35 to 40%, which ends up being like for the whole charge, for the whole battery, you're talking $6, $7. So $7 to go 240, 250 miles. You know, that's like getting 120 miles a gallon in a performance car, which obviously just doesn't happen. So how long does it take to charge? Well, say you drove it down to 15%, you charge it up to 80 or 90. You actually don't charge these cars to 100 every day. You charge it to 80 or 90. It's gonna take like 6 hours, 6.5. Of course, if you had just 110, it's gonna take all day to charge. So again, if you can't install the wall charger, I just don't recommend an EV. They're not there for you yet. But if you can, really consider this, because I'm so glad I took the plunge, because I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much. Leave some comments on what you want to see next. Should be fun. Have a great day. Bye.